Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a breathtaking, cinematic, musical narrative about a journey to Kenya, one that literally changes the very definition of magic. We're looking at a story titled The Last Legend that blends these massive soundscapes with incredibly intimate lyrics to unpack human perception, myth, and reality. So let's jump right in and break down what it actually means to search for the extraordinary in our world.
They told me of rivers where monsters still remain. I mean, wow. It's just so easy to be lured by the promise of something ancient, right? Something untamed, hiding just out of sight beneath the water. Think about how captivating that is. As humans, we are naturally drawn to the unknown, to the absolute edges of the map where the dragons supposedly live. And the opening of this journey is totally fueled by those whispered names and half-believed creatures.
Which brings us to our first section, searching for monsters. To really understand this drive, we have to look at what's actually being chased here. A myth. We're talking about this frantic search for ancient footsteps, deliberately hidden by rain, and creatures that are, well, only half remembered by the modern world. The initial goal here isn't just to go out and look for wildlife. No, it's looking for the supernatural, something that totally defies the ordinary laws of nature and brings that sense of childhood wonder rushing back into existence.
This whole journey represents a total psychological evolution. It starts passively, just hearing whispered names. But then it turns into an active pursuit, following every single story, and ultimately crossing the physical border into Kenya. It's your classic hero's journey setup. You venture into the physical unknown, fully expecting the landscape to just hand over the mythical creatures you've built up in your head.
But here is the pivot. This is where the anticipated magic gets completely shattered by a beautiful reality. After traveling all this way, following all the clues, the grand reveal doesn't look anything like the fairy tales. It suddenly becomes crystal clear that preconceived notions of what makes something legendary were entirely wrong.
And that leads us to our next part, the oldest magic. There is such a fascinating contrast happening here. The legend isn't lurking in the shadows. It is walking boldly right across the morning light, lifting dust with silent feet. The creature doesn't ask to be believed in, it just exists. And this completely turns our human concept of a myth on its head. We always assume that true magic requires, darkness, mystery, some clever disguise to be profound. But the reality is the exact opposite.
We spend so much time obsessing over fantasy, digging through shadows, desperately looking for monsters. But compare that to the grounding, majestic reality of the African plains. Real giraffes, lions too proud to pretend. These animals don't need to put on a disguise or be wrapped in ancient folklore to be magnificent. They just are.
When you actually stand on the plains of Kenya and watch a lion wake up, it hits you like a ton of bricks. They don't need to ask to be believed. Earth is already everything the story has promised. When you look at the natural world, you are looking at something far, far more incredible than a made-up dragon. The planet itself and its natural inhabitants possess an inherent magic that completely eclipses any myth human beings could possibly invent.
Let's explore that thought in this next section, forgetting the miracles.
Did we invent monsters just to replace miracles? Do we create elaborate myths simply because we've grown completely numb to reality? This is such a profound moment in the text. We get so used to the fact that towering, long-necked giraffes and massive elephants walk this earth that we start dreaming up supernatural creatures just to feel a sense of awe again. We're literally being challenged to wake up.
Because the natural world possesses an ancient, inherent language that predates any human myth. The real legends are out there spreading their wings above the plains right now. They carry songs and rhythms that are older than spoken language itself. We don't need to write the stories or force the narrative. The earth has already written them. And honestly, it fulfills every single promise of wonder we could ever ask for.
Which brings us to our final section, protecting the legends. This is the ultimate realization right here. The real tragedy wouldn't be losing a myth, but failing to protect the very real, living legends we have on Earth right now. Think about how haunting that lyrical realization is. If a mythical monster disappears, well, it just means we stop telling a story. But if these real legends disappear from the plains of Kenya, it means we fundamentally failed in our duty to protect them. The magic is real, for sure, but it is deeply, deeply vulnerable.
So the text completely redefines what a legend is. A legend is no longer a mythical beast hiding in a river. It's the majestic earthly wildlife, the elephants, the lions, the giraffes, that absolutely require our protection. The magic of our world isn't guaranteed to be here forever. It requires our active stewardship and our utmost respect.
The whole journey totally transforms a childish desire for the supernatural into a deeply rooted, awestruck belief in the reality of elephants. It's a complete awakening to the sheer wonder of the natural world that breathes right alongside us every single day.
So to wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this provocative thought about what we actually choose to value in our world. Are you still looking for monsters, or are you ready to protect the miracles we already have? We're challenged to stop staring into the shadows looking for made-up beasts and instead step into the morning light to appreciate the absolute wonders that share this planet with us. Because once you truly notice the miracles, you realize they are worth fighting for. Thank you so much for diving into this journey with me. Now get out there and appreciate the legends we still have.